Good morning everyone and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. I'm getting ready to do the cranes and this is the winch for the crane, and what I did is I put it on backwards so that when I turn this around and I bring the wire up, it'll actually be, where are you? It'll actually be forward. So that's what I did there. I've used CA glue because it goes off very quick, CA glue. So I used that first. Now that I've got a string, so there's the winch for my crane, and with a bit of stringy string on there for the cable. Now when that dries, I've got some CA glue on there. I will wrap the cable back around this way, up and over the crane. What I've also done is I'm doing the exact same thing on the other end of the string. So technically I have two winches now on either side of this string. So there they both are. So I'm just going to now even up the string just there, snip it off, and then I'm going to hook one over one side and one over the other. So I'll snip that in the middle now. What you do have to be careful of, this stuff knots up really easy, so just take your time with it and it should work out okay. So now that this is dried, I went from this to now wrapping it around once and then back up onto itself like that, and that's kind of how you want to glue it on, like this, with this already wrapped around it. And pull that a bit and that'll tighten her up. You can go around one more time if you want to, if you're not happy with that. But basically you just want to wrap that around at least once around that little tiny wheel. It's elastic, so it'll hold up fairly well after you've glued it on. So there's mine wrapped around underneath, and what I'm going to do is, while it's around the wheel, I'm just going to get a toothpick here, a little bit of glue. I don't know if I can actually do this while you're on the film, but I'll try. Just tiny little dab, and that's it. And I'll just let that go off. I think what I might also do is these cranes, I might set them up and glue them into place on how I want them. So I'm probably thinking one up like this, and on the other side I'll probably have it a bit lower, more like, if I can get that back in, probably more like that, so they're not exactly the same. And then have the other one down on the other side. I think it'll look all right. It does add to the look, so it's pretty important. So that's now glued home. So about 10 minutes has passed, and what I've got there is I've got the winch with the cable on it, kind of just draped over the front here. Now what we want to do is, we want to put a dab of probably CA glue up here because it dries really fast. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to grab this cable, it's elastic, so then we're going to stretch it and drop it in there and hold it for that point there. So what you'll end up with is exactly that, looking like cable. And because that's elastic, that'll stay there then after that. And then we'll probably let that dry, and then we'll do the next little bit down here. So there it is, pretty much dried. As you can see, there's got plenty of tension on the top piece and really not much down here. So what we're going to do, we're going to set this one up to where we want it. And I'm pretty much going to do the same, which is I'm going to put a dab of blue just on the very tip here, bring it back and just touch it into itself. So I'll get on and set that one up. And once I do one, I'm not going to show you the second one. There's no need. So there we have my crane, and technically there's enough tension on there now that I'm only holding the crane part in my left hand, that I could now actually adjust that and it'll stay exactly where I want it, just because of the elastic that's already in there. So I'm actually rather happy about that. Whoops, probably about there. That's fine. Not really sure what I'm going to do here. I mean, ideally I could probably just hang it just a little bit. No one's going to be really looking for a hook. They're just This is all about show, so yeah, I'm still undecided, I really am. But that's one crane, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. And I am probably going to glue the base because, as I stated earlier, it doesn't really want to do this. There's that elastic going to work there. I'm very happy how that turned out. Thank you very much. So yes, I'll glue that down. So there it is on the ship, and I can go up or down now, and yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. The cable, I'm not sure. I think what I'm just going to do though is probably just snip it off. I'm happy with the way that crane looks and the way that it's sitting on there, and that I've actually got some adjustment in it. So yeah, I think that we'll leave the cranes from there. So I've just finished gluing down 1, 2, 3, 4 boats on this side. The crane, you know, we've finished. The only thing really left on this side is there's one piece to add up here. I'm going to call this side finished, and then I'm going to continue the other side, but you won't need to see the other side. Whatever I did on this side, I'll do on the other side, and there's just the props and the rudder to add on at the very last. So we're looking very close to the end now, and I will come back when I add the rudder and the props. I just came back for one last minute. The last thing that was also added was these rails here. So I blackened them off, added them. That just brings a little bit of spark to it, and yes. Well, there they are. There's the props all ready to be painted. I'll get on and give them a bit of a dusting. Just in case you wanted to know what colour this is, so I kind of went into the store and I looked at the lid and then I went like this. This is golden copperish, so I did pick out a gold one in the XF, but and I can tell by the smell it is definitely lacquer paint. So I've just mixed up a bit actually in the spray gun itself, and we'll see how it goes together. Could be too gold, might not be. There's our dust coat, and this is the back side only, and then I'll put them on toothpicks to do the other side, which is probably the side you're really going to see anyway. So far it's looking pretty good. It's got that goldy coppery kind of look. Well, there's another coat on there. Now probably one thing I did not realise, that these are starting to look a little shiny, but we have matte gloss, matte varnish for that. We can have the colour and just matte them right off. But the colour wise, yeah, they're fantastic. I really like the colour. Well, there's another coat on there. I can tell you, it's kind of like a black gold. It's definitely gold, but it's a dark black kind of gold. It's a really good colour, and I'm really pleased with it. So what I'm going to do is going to let that sort of go off a bit more, and then I'll come back and give it just another light coat. So I've got the gun turned way down, as in almost. That's probably the last coat on that side. I'll turn them over and get them ready once they're dried. There they are, ready for the coat on the other side. Try that again. There they are, ready for the paint on the other side. They took off like windmills on the toothpicks. So there's the first dusty kind of coat, because I'm going to say kind of started off as a dust coat, then went a bit more. Well, there's the second coat. I got to tell you, I really like this colour. I do. I really like it. And because that's the outside, the props, I'm probably going to let them dry and give them one more coat, because you never know. I may have missed somewhere. So I'll come back in a few minutes. Well, there's the third coat. Yeah, I'm still going to say they're a little glossy. I do like how, depends on how you look at it, it either looks gold or it looks dark. So I think that's going to be interesting, but I do think it's going to need a little bit of matte just to knock them back a little bit. Although some people have them this glossy on the ship. So what I might actually do is take it off, sit it on the ship first and have a look. I thought I'd give you a look up close with this colour, because as you can see down the paper, it looks quite dark. And And they do, they look dark, but they're not. And I have the light directly on top of me here. So yeah, that's a very strange colour. Here, gold and dark, and just, yeah, just certain ways it's like gold, dark. Anyway, well there they are. They're just sitting on the ship. They're not glued in. I actually think they stick out enough to where you can notice them, but they're not too much. And because it is kind of dark under there, you do want to be able to see them a little bit more. I don't like the props actually touching the ship though. Don't know how that's physically possible. There we go. Probably like that's probably better. I think I'm just going to go with that. I'm not going to worry about varnishing those. I like how they look a little bit shiny under there anyway. And the very fact that these things look a little dark, they're gold but they're dark, kind of works well under there. Anyway, that's my thought on that. So I probably will glue them on, and the rudder, the last mast. I did knock off 2 of the guns up here, which have to go back on. And that's it for the ship, apart from the rigging. I am going to do a separate video just on the rigging, and I just had the planes to go. That's it. There are the props and the rudder on. There's only a couple more things left to do, which are the rear flag, and I've got to put those couple of guns back that I knocked off earlier. And then that is the ship finished, apart from the 2 planes. So I'll quickly add these 2 guns and the rear flag on. Oh, and the rear anchor that I knocked off as well. There's the 2 rear guns back on. Yep, pretty happy with that. There's the rear flag mask on. Now for the anchor. I almost forgot these couple little rail things I said I'd do earlier, but they were very fragile, and they are very fragile. Just need to get them in there. Just like that. Okay, just got to spin that around so I can put those other 2 pipes on this side, and that'll mark the rear end finished. Well, there's the last, a few bits and pieces on, and the anchor. I've knocked this, turning it around. They're all on this side, so the only thing left now is the chain and the little planes that are going to go in there. Well, there it is, everyone. There's the ship. Sorry about my stand squeaking a little bit. Still got to do the 2 planes, but that's pretty much the finished product right there. Pretty happy with it. So, yeah. We'll just do the other side now. Actually, we'll stay there. We'll do the other side. Now, there's the other side, and we'll slowly work our way back. My stand is squeaking. Well, there you have it. There's the overall look. There is the other side overall look. Pretty happy with it in the end. It was a bit of a fight to get it to this position, but very, very happy with it. It'll look good in my collection. So there we have it. I will do one more video though. This ship does not have rigging on it, and you do not see the last bit. You don't see the planes on there. I've got an idea about the rigging, and they pretty much tell you to do one string on it, and I think we can do better than that. So there's the ship. Come along this journey with me so far. There it is. I'm extremely happy with the new color I picked out for the props. I did show it on one of the videos, or even this video. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. Except if you did come along for the ride, thank you very much. I did start this video channel only about 6 weeks ago now. It's been a challenge at times, but I've gotten better at it. So if you did come all the way through, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the new subs. And I really do thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I do have some plans to do some more. So stick along and we'll see where it goes. Once again, thank you all very much. Thank you all very, very much for being patient. And I hope you're happy with the end product. Thank you.